G'day there guys, it's your main hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/legal advice story. Now in today's, we get locked up for a long time, so get ready to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and wait out your sentence in jail. I was arrested, kept in jail for 62 days, then released after the DA finally got around to my case. I did nothing wrong. Okay, so a few days ago, I was released from county jail after being held for 62 days. I lost my job, didn't pay rent for 2 months, almost 3 now, and my car is in the process of being put up for auction and they won't release it. I was arrested for felon in possession of a firearm. I'm not a felon and never have been or had anything expunged, and at the time of arrest, I didn't even have a firearm on me. And reckless endangerment, which was firing a weapon at the side of a building, again, something I did not do. I had an initial appearance thing in the jail over video, where I was given a public defender who was completely and absolutely useless. I'm not sure if this is the norm for public defenders, but he didn't say anything I told him to at this appearance I had, because a simple background check shows I didn't have a felony, and on the night this allegedly happened, I was out of state, plane tickets and hotel with work. He literally just said, "not guilty," then asked for a signature bond. The judge or magistrate guy denied it, because a felon with a firearm is a huge thing. So then I sat, in jail, for a total of 60 days, before my public defender even came to see me. I tried to call him every day with the phones and the number on the paper I had, but he was never in and never came to see me. I couldn't afford a regular attorney who wanted around $2,500 to even start a criminal case. I don't really have family or super close friends to call for help. I was fired from work obviously, and now late on rent, and obviously will be evicted. Probably because I can't pay without a job, and definitely not $2,100 plus utilities for rent on the 3 months I'm about to owe. When he finally came around and saw me 2 days before my next appearance, and he finally listened to me, he talked to the DA, who apparently had also not looked at my case or my letter I mailed them, until then also. After that appearance, I got a "sorry, computer error, you're free to go," and I was released. What can I do for any of this? Apparently, someone with the same name but a different date of birth shot at a building after a fight, and is a felon, but I sat in jail, lost my job, can't even get my car back, they say, unless I pay some crazy fees. How am I liable for these fees if it was an error? This is in Madison, Wisconsin. So our boy Drugs says, contact the Wisconsin chapter of the ACLU. They have a team specifically looking at possible civil rights cases. Seems like a clear violation of his Fifth Amendment rights, which is no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offences to be twice put in the jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Nope, this would not be considered being deprived of life, liberty, or property. OP's lawyer pretty certainly waived speedy trial in that initial hearing. Why would this not be considered deprived of liberty? 62 days. I'm really interested in this reply. How is being held in jail for 2 months not considered being deprived of liberty under the Due Process Clause? He was unable to act in the manner that a citizen of the US should be allowed to because his identity wasn't fully confirmed before imprisonment. That sounds like a clear lack of liberty to a layman like myself. I'll definitely need this clearly explained. This is on the defense attorney. Sounds like the court did what they were supposed to. They arraigned him and likely held a bond hearing and calendared the next date for 2 months out. Slightly long, but still reasonable if that defendant waived time. They likely did. It's not the court's fault. The defense attorney didn't talk to their own clients and didn't listen when they did. Well, that's a pretty interesting take on it. What do you guys think? And here they have 2 edits. Edit 1. Thanks for all the replies, guys and gals. I'll contact the Wisconsin branch of the ACLU tomorrow and see what they say and where to go from here. Also, I appreciate the messages offering to help me if I need it, but I can survive frugally on my credit cards if absolutely need be, and will be contacting my boss tomorrow, also and explaining the situation. Edit 2. To clear up more confusion about my car. The city had it towed by a local company they're contracted with. The storage fees are $1,900 and growing daily, and I only paid $3,500 for the car 2 years ago. The towing company that has my vehicle told me the city can waive their percentage and pay the rest to them, and I can get my car, but told good luck. Also, their policy is to only store vehicles for 90 days before auctioning the car. Ooh, he's lucky he got out in 2 months, but good luck getting that car back. Alright guys, now we're on to the update of the story, from 62 Days in Jail, Mistaken Identity. I've spoken to several attorneys and law firms throughout the state, and have settled on one and signed the papers and all that stuff today. I want to thank all of you for giving me advice on what to ask and look for when speaking to them all. It really helped in narrowing it down and figuring out what was best to go with. I can't really give out a whole lot of information because we are just starting to gather all the pieces and put it all together. There most likely will not be any updates to this for quite some time. To answer the endless messages I received about race, I am white and early 20s. The person I was misidentified as is also white but in his 30s. I spoke to my boss and HR and will be back at work very soon, and 2 months pay advance that will be paid back with overtime. Also, my landlord was really nice and is letting me pay back rent over the next few months in installments. What a good guy. I'm glad we had a good ending to this one because that was looking really grim and I would be bored as hell for 62 days in jail. What did you guys think of this one down in the comments below? Anyway, on to the next story. I have become a forgotten employee for a few months at my job. I want to start a new job and wondering legal ramifications. Cross-post from r/jobs. This is in Texas. About a year ago, I was fired for something I did not do. Basically, they thought I was stealing from the company and had me fired in the system before they informed me in person. When they caught the real thief, literally 5 minutes before I got the axe, I got called into HR where they apologized to me profusely and told me they would be working to reinstate me without losing my tenure or my vacation time. They asked me if there was anything they could do in the meantime. I asked for the vacation right then and there, which made HR really happy, because me being gone for 2 weeks made it easy for them to unfreak the situation. While on vacation, I broke my leg and was wheelchair bound for a month. When I informed HR of this, they offered me the satellite office for a temporary use, since it was literally 1 block away, and I could get there safely using wheelchair. The company had a satellite office close to my house that was basically just 2 rooms. One had a desk power socket and internet access, and the other one was the bathroom. The office was purchased for an exec who was wheelchair bound because of cancer. The office stayed empty for a few months when her cancer went terminal, and eventually she passed on. When I was offered it, they moved my PC and everything out there, getting me set up. That was the last time I ever had any face-to-face with anyone in the company. Even after my leg healed, I did not return to the normal building. I stayed in the office until HR wanted to move someone else in. Well, that never came. 5 months ago, my department was shuttered. My boss, several employees, and a few other management people were quietly let go. Some kind of thing happened at the top that caused a lot of people to be let go. By this time, I was pretty much using the office as a second home and had not had any real contact with anyone outside of emails and the occasional phone call. Once this happened, I was just coming to work every day and completing my tasks until they stopped coming. Then just came in every day until the hammer fell. It never did. I have been coming in every single day, walking since it's only a 5-minute walk unless it's raining, hooking up my gaming laptop, and hopping on Discord with my friends to play. Sometimes I'll bring my PS4 or Xbox One into the office and play that too. I have been using this office and collecting a paycheck for the last 5-ish months with no contact other than company-wide emails and former co-workers of mine calling me, asking me how things are going. To put it into context of how much I stopped caring, when I told my girlfriend about my job situation, she came to visit me at work. I will keep it G-rated here for you guys, and I'll let you use your imagination as to the nature of her visit. I do not state this to brag, but merely to paint the picture of how things are at my current quote-unquote job. All of this brings us to today. I have been using my free time to also study for several PC certificates, and have finally acquired them. I'm getting job offers for a few places that will also be a pretty big step up from my current position. What are the pros and cons of taking the new jobs without quitting my first job? I know that technically I'm currently in the clear legally, but I want to know if that changes if I start working at another job and collecting 2 paychecks. I am guessing very much yes, but wanted to know more. Does the situation change if one of the companies allows me to work from home and I use my office to work at both jobs? Yes, I know I am being incredibly greedy, but I am legitimately wondering here because it's like a very lucky situation I find myself in, and it would be a complete waste to throw it away without a good reason. As in, I could get in legal trouble is a very good reason to throw it all away and work at the new job. So our first reply says, you could be sued back for the wages for the time you were being paid but didn't do any work. Unlikely, but possible. You're much more likely to be sued to pay back wages for any time you're working another job and still being paid for the first. Send them an email giving 2 weeks, or however much is required notice, quit, and then start your new job. So, you got reverse Miltoned? I've actually read and heard situations like this happening before. They are more common than you would think, and they happen in all sizes of business. Only not government jobs, as they are heavily regulated with strict bureaucracy. I know of this happening quite recently at AT&T, at the global headquarters no less. Whenever people bypass the established protocols that HR puts in place, they will get lost in the system. Although in the situation of the AT&T employee, he applied for another job in another area, and HR noticed he was stagnant in the system. He had been turning in bogus reports each quarter to make it look like he was still doing his job, and HR did not dig too deeply into it. They gave him the position he applied for and moved on with his life. The good thing is, situations like this where people can become unfireable if they keep their noses down. The bad is, they usually do not have any sort of chance to move up without becoming noticed. Usually, this is a huge risk. And now, on to our update. So I'm a forgotten employee who's been working for over a year. I got found out. Since that time, I got denied for the second job, and basically been coasting until I landed another position and turned in my 2 weeks notice. Recently, I found a position at a tech firm that will allow me to work from home, is easier than what I used to do, and pays more. Basically, tired of doing nothing even though I'm getting paid for it. The day after I mailed the keys to the satellite office back to the corporate office, I got a phone call at exactly 8 AM. The head of HR for the former company wanted to speak with me in person. I asked her if there were any issues such as equipment that was not returned. She stated that there were no issues like that. They just had some questions about my job function over the last year. I told her that they should have that information as head of HR and promptly disconnected, stating I had to return back to work. She called back at 12:05 exactly. I have been ducking her calls ever since. Her voicemails state that I am required to come into her office to discuss a few things. My emails with her have asked if there is anything else that needs to be returned or issues with company property. Every time I am assured it is nothing like that, but they need me to come into their office to discuss this with me in person. She calls at least once per day. I am thinking I just need to ignore her calls until she either escalates or goes away. How incredibly bad is that plan? Before anyone says it, I know, okay, I should have quit a long time ago. I did not. Edit, Texas. Now, Rodney Satisfying says, they're clearly phishing. Ignore unless you get served with papers, in which case get a lawyer. They aren't paying you anymore, so they aren't entitled to a second of your time. The only thing HR needs to do is issue your last paycheck. Cobra notices and depends on company policy. Possible payment of any unused PTO earned. Oh, the irony. You are only required to return company equipment. Anything else is a courtesy, and one I would not recommend you extending. You are in the clear. Do not give them any ammunition. The only thing you need to tell the HR person is that you are no longer employed by their company and you have no interest in discussing anything with her face to face or over the phone. I like this one. Jazim says, does she think you still work there? Where does she get off requiring you to do anything? Around the time she starts throwing around the words must or required is when I would tell her to stop calling you. If you had gigantic brass balls, you could quote her a consulting fee to come in and talk to her, but I wouldn't recommend it. Virginia/Georgia. Was let go last week from my employer. Sent laptop at company issued iPhone back to employer. They will not accept it because I did not address it correctly. They have possession of the laptop, telling me that my paycheck will be deducted if it is not properly returned. I live in Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain. Employer is HQ'd in Georgia. Sorry, I just thought that was a little bit of fun, wasn't it? Was hired in January, was let go last week due to not meeting boss's expectations on pipeline growth. Ooh, what kind of job is this man working? I'm a remote software sales guy. You know what? You can sell me pipeline growth any day, buddy. Quite frankly, I'm glad to go. It was not a good fit, and I had arranged interviews this week already. Prior to being let go, I harbored no bad feelings. Thursday, 6th of the 7th, 2018, could be 7th of the 6th, I don't know, it's America, was my last day. Had a conference call that morning with boss and HR. My only instructions for the remainder of the day was to remove anything personal off the PC, to wipe the company-issued iPhone, and head to the closest FedEx, where they would package up the laptop, charging cable, and phone. I was given an account number, whereby the company paid for the shipping and packaging. The package was to be overnighted and had to be there on Friday. I took pictures on the electronics being wrapped up, the shipping label, and the receipt. I was told to address the package to the woman in HR who was part of letting me go. I could not remember the spelling of the woman in HR's last name. It is complicated to spell, and I cannot fully remember it. I met her the day I was being fired. So rather than do first name, last name, I addressed it to, for the sake of conversation, I'll call her Susan. Company address, ATTN, Susan, head of HR. I overnighted the package. It was signed by the receptionist. It is in the company's possession. Susan is now refusing to accept the package. I called her this morning to confirm that she got the package. She was very curt with me this morning and is now telling me that I did not follow her specific instructions. Therefore, I am out of compliance with their equipment return policy, part of an agreement that I signed when I joined the company. And that my final paycheck is going to be deducted the replacement cost of the laptop and iPhone unless she receives the package in the way I was instructed to send it to her. She did confirm that the package arrived. However, she is refusing to open and accept it as her last name is not on the package. Susan is the only Susan in HR, and she is the head of HR. Is that Susan Wojciechowski, maybe? Head of YouTube? Susan is offering no remedy here. Only keeps saying that I am out of compliance and did not follow her specific instructions. I'm sort of at a loss on what to do here. Do I contact IT? The company's legal department? As part of my employment agreement, it does state that if I separate from the company and fail to return any company-issued equipment, I have to agree to my paycheck deducted for the cost of replacement. But they have the equipment. So Ronin1313 says, Susan is wrong. She has the property and cannot deduct your paycheck for property in her possession. Well, she can, but it would not be legal. Worst/best case, your choice. This goes to court, and Susan gets to explain why she deducted the cost from the paycheck. I'm sure a judge would love to hear that she was charging him for not returning equipment that she was already in possession of. And they say, you should file a wage complaint with the state if they withhold your paycheck. They are being ridiculous. What do you suggest I do? IT seems uninterested. See my edit. Filing a wage complaint if they would withhold part or all of your paycheck. Don't bother with IT. Go through the Department of Labor. Call Susan back and say, according to FedEx, the property in question was delivered to you. If you withhold any part of my final pay, I will immediately file a wage complaint. I'd email that. Keeps a paper trail. So now, edit 1. I shot an email off to IT, telling them what is going on. Up to 1.5 hours later, I got a message back saying that I needed to log into the network and to submit a ticket. This was not an automated responder. Someone actually wrote me an email. Edit 2. About a half hour ago, I kicked off an email to Susan. I added a bit of my own flair to the email, but more or less everything used by u/Thunder5 wrote. Got a response back saying, "I'm sorry IT chef, but I cannot send you back a package that I have yet to receive in my name." I emailed her back and did an email carpet bomb. Every C-level single executive, heads of IT, and legal department was copied on the email. I added a very, very brief summary at the top of the email stating that Susan is being difficult, is threatening to withhold my wages for non-delivery of returned company equipment, and that they are indeed in possession of the package. Now we wait, I guess? Edit 3/final update. I got a short email this morning from the head of legal stating the following. IT chef, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We know that separating from a company can be difficult, and clearly we have not made this separation any easier, and for that we apologize. Both HR and IT have confirmed the return of your electronic equipment, laptop, monitor dongle, iPhone, and laptop charging cable. IT has confirmed that all items are good working order. You can expect your full and final paycheck on June 18th. Thank you, Head of Legal Dude. Thanks to everyone for your input. Really appreciate it. Now I have to wait until Monday to confirm that the paycheck actually arrives. I suspect everything will be on the up and up now that legal is involved. Good luck. And our next post, campus effectively removed all men's restrooms. Administration is dragging its feet acknowledging there's a problem. New York, United States. So essentially, with few exceptions, every male restroom on my campus has been converted into an all-gender restroom. This sort of makes sense given that they are the only existing restrooms which contain both stalls and urinals. The problem herein lies that in addition to new signs on the doors, the primary door to the restroom has been equipped with a vacancy/occupied lock with locks from the inside, essentially allowing a single individual, if they choose, to lock a bathroom with facilities accommodating up to 8 people at one time, reducing it to a single-use restroom. On numerous occasions, men have had to leave lecture halls and travel to other buildings with the hope that the all-gender restroom in that building had not been locked also. I've also brought this issue to our school's Department of Diversity and Equity, where after 3 weeks of obfuscation, I've managed to meet with the department head and to have a conversation with her, where I've essentially been told to shove it. Is there any sort of federal or New York state legislation with which I can bring to their attention and try and instigate real change? Edit, in less than an hour, I've found the solution I've been looking for. Thanks Reddit, you beautiful oyster. So possibly the solution was Queequag saying, I would try your local code enforcement. New York State Plumbing Code determines how many toilets are required in the facility. While the school may technically have enough toilets, the fact one user can occupy 8 at a time breaks that math. And I would expect code enforcement to have ways to address that. Thanks, I just looked into the NYS plumbing code and found exactly what I was looking for. So there's your happy ending, even though it's kinda anticlimactic, but there you go, Reddit, epic. An Airbnb I recently stayed at had hidden cameras in the bedrooms. My friend and I were recorded having sex. Anything I can do to have the footage deleted? Some friends and I met up at Southern California to have a little weekend together, since we all live in different parts of the country. I brought my girlfriend with me, and so did a few of my friends. The weekend went how it went, and on our last day there, we noticed there were small hidden cameras speckled throughout the home. After checking the bedrooms, we confirmed there were in fact 2 to 3 cameras in each room, all pointed towards the beds. I contacted the hosts, and they stated that it's their home, and they can legally have security cameras in the home. Is there anything we can do to have the footage deleted or something? I understand the need for security cameras in cases of damage or stolen items, but being pointed at the bed in all the rooms? It makes me feel really uneasy. Update, made a call to the local police department, as I'm already back home. informed them of the situation, and filed a report over the phone with explicit details. My friend who lives in the area is going to follow up in an hour or so after work ends for her. And our last one, I can't find the original one, but looking through this guy's account, it was a bit wild. This one says, update, sister took $250,000 from mother with dementia. Original post is nearly a year old. Mother passed away, and within a week, older sister and caretaker of mum for 2 years had gotten our mother with dementia to sign over $250,000, bought a house, put it in her name, and had about $20,000 left over that she kept, and hid it from me for a year. She realized I had a good idea at the value of our mother's estate and admitted it to me. I tried to work with her and get her to pay out the other siblings what their fair share of the $250,000 would have been to them/us. She refused and cut off communication. I filed a police report for financial elder abuse. The detective just emailed me. He subpoenaed medical and financial records and is having sister come in for an interview in the next week. I hope it gets resolved. Please forgive me, since this is an active case. I don't want to disclose the location. And the latest one from like 3 months ago, basically stating that he's dead. This guy just up and died. And everyone in the comments is like, whoa, was this guy murdered over this post with, going after the $250,000? Because the guy died just like real quick. He just died in his sleep or something, according to the post. So this account was supposed to be deleted 3 months ago, but it wasn't. So, whoa, this is like a rabbit hole to come down. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one today. Tell me what you thought of all these stories. I'd love to hear your opinions. And as always, I love your faces. Thank you for coming here today. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.